And what we're going to do is, it's a pretty simple, straightforward process, but we're going to use nail polish to make an imprint of the epidermis from these leaves so that we can look at it under the microscope and start looking at stomata, see what they actually look like. And then we're going to count them as well to kind of see the differences. So if we look on here, we have, so we're going to pick leaves off. Okay? Does anybody know the difference, which side is which? So we can say upper, this is the upper side and which is the lower side, but they have different names. Does everybody know what they are? So the upper side, you got it, you're on it.
I want to say actually what I wasn't sure.
Okay, so the upper side is the adaxial, so with a D. Alright, so adaxial. And the lower side is the abaxial. So it's really, big difference, really. You don't have to tell apart, but B is for bottom. It's kind of how I try and remember them. Why do you think that they have names? I mean, apart from this is the scientific name, but why do you think you need to know the difference? So on leaves like this, where they sit, it's pretty obvious. Okay, this is the top side, this is the low side. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, but what else if we have a leaf that's like this? So grass. So if you just say upper and lower side, which side are you talking about? It's hard to tell. So in this case, your upper side, okay, is kind of more green, although in your dicots and stuff will be the same, but the adaxial, the bottom side, is where the vein, that midrib along the bottom sticks out more. And that's how you can tell the difference. It's pretty obvious on most trees because it's got a really, really green side and then less green on the other. Okay? So all we're going to do is take our nail polish, and I apologize, I didn't buy a whole lot, so you're going to have to share it around. Yeah. Okay, and so what you want to do is just really paint a really thin layer on your leaf. And if you painted your nails before, then you can get good practice. You don't want big clumps. You want it nice and thin so that it's easy to peel off. Okay? So, the first part, and again, so what we're going to do is we're going to paint some on the top side. So the adaxial side, and some on the lower side. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare and try and see if there's a difference in the number of stomata on the top and the bottom. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so if you guys want to come in your groups, it's probably easiest to work in pairs. So we could probably work in tables just because of the fact we don't have a lot of time and we don't have a lot of things. So maybe just tables. You guys can come, grab a couple leaves off the front here. The nail polish is here. And just paint a couple layers on each leaf. So grab a couple leaves, paint on top, paint on the bottom. Okay, grab it. So we'll paint them on first, and then just put them down to dry, and we'll talk a little bit about the next set of questions and kind of what the rest of the steps we're going to go through. Yeah, and so if somebody from the group can go grab a microscope, and you want a binocular microscope. Yeah, just like this.